Hey, this will go on as a forward. I hope you enjoy the podcast today. We're going to talk about something interesting, but in all seriousness, I heard that Hayden Panettiere died, and she was on Malcolm in the Middle. She was funny on that show last few seasons. And when I prayed, I heard. Here's what I heard. I heard like methadone, and like God showed me. I don't think He was talking about her, but He was showing me when I thought that I was gonna just have to be on methadone for the rest of my life. I didn't think that like real recovery happens. I just thought that I was gonna need to be on something for the rest of my life. And I was in a place where, like, my best life was looking at, taking methadone for the rest of my life, feeling sick, and just like a maintenance dose. And it was horrible. I didn't know that there was real freedom. I didn't know that there was real chain breaking. Like, I didn't know that this was actually possible. And I've been sober for 10 years. I'm telling you, my wife says, praise God. I'm telling you, don't buy into the AA stuff. There's good stuff in AA, but the good stuff in AA is all about teaching you how to be responsible. Doing responsible human stuff. Don't buy it. We are saints. We are saints. You are a saint if you believe in Jesus Christ. Don't listen to him there. They use things like character defects, and they slow play, they slow roll people, things like character defects instead of just calling it sin, because it's like tricking your dog to like take his medicine in like the grape jelly, because he doesn't understand that there's like medicine in there, and you can't get your dog to like actually take the medicine. So you smash it up, you put it in grape jelly, and you give it to him. He thinks this is a tasty little delicious treat, but he has an aversion to the word sin, right? Calling out sin for what it is. And then you look at the people in AA who have the biggest success, and it's the people who, like really go to town on sin, right? Because this is what really blocks you from the presence of God, okay? I don't want to get on a soapbox, but I'm telling you, there is real freedom found in Jesus Christ. You got to learn how to take authority over demons. You got to know your authority that's been given to you as a believer. And when you really get a hold of this thing, man, you answer the call. You live a life worthy of that call that God has called, that he made you for, and you come out of it. And then 10 years down the road, you're looking back and you haven't had a drink. You haven't had a drug or anything like that in 10 years. And I don't even think about it, dude. I can go into any bar. I can go anywhere I want. They could put a stack of pills in front of me, and I would take it to the police station and turn it in, dude. I would have no problem doing it. I've been in the worst pain I've ever been in my life. Not even a year ago. I didn't even think about going and using some type of pain medicine or something like that. It was worse than when I got stabbed. For weeks on end, I was like this. I prayed, and it went away. It was witchcraft. Okay, so like when I tell you that there's real freedom, and I am a testimony to that. And like Hayden Panettiere didn't need to die like that. She just never grabbed hold of what she was really made for. And it's sad, and that shouldn't happen. People shouldn't go out like that. They got people that love them. So just know, like, I'm telling you here, I am an example. I overcame drugs and alcohol. I don't even think about it. I have no problems with it. And if that spirit even tries to come in, I kick that devil out, and I can kick it out of anybody that I come across that's struggling with that's really done. You got to be careful, because if you go kicking demons out and people aren't really done, it goes and it comes back with 7 worse than the first one that left. Okay, so you got to be careful. You got to really be done. Find out who you are. Enjoy this podcast. Okay? And don't let what happened to her happen to you. All right, guys. I got something exciting that I found. Let's just get right into it. Father, Abba, Jehovah Sabaoth, the Lord of hosts, the great I am, Adonai, my God, I bless you, I love you, I thank you. Crucify the flesh, walk in the Spirit. I commit this to you. I pray that you bless it, anoint it, get me out of the way. I don't want to talk any nonsense. Okay. I just confirmed it. Get me out of the way. Crucify the flesh. Jesus Christ, my name. I pray for prophetic wisdom and insight as I'm going over this. All right, so check it out, dude. So yesterday I saw this video. Oh my gosh. I'll link it when I post this online. I saw this guy. I don't know what the second part of the video is. I don't know what he was demonstrating. It could just be nonsense. That's why I had to go look into this to see if this is a real thing. But I've seen this demonstrated in another video. Listen, they put these videos out there and they see who gets it, who's in the club. They put a video like this out there and then they see, all right, let's see who actually picks this up, who's getting it, who understands what we're seeing. The video was a vortex, like this stick, and it's in this vortex shape. It's this long stick. It looks, I don't know, man, almost like a witch's stick or something. And the dude sets it on the ground, and there's like a hose at an elevated height, and it's dripping water. And he sets the vortex stick underneath it. And then this stick starts climbing up the water, dude, and he gets like 3 feet off the ground, and then he grabs the stick out of the water and went and put it on this, he put it on something like a piece of metal or something, and it like broke the piece of metal. I don't know what he was just demonstrating there. I have no idea. Who knows? Okay, but I went and I looked, and as soon as I saw that, I was like, wait a second, dude. This vortex shape allows something to basically swim up current. And if this is real, dude, there's all kinds of applications for something like this. I mean, like, the first thing that came to my mind was like, oh my gosh, dude, all they would have to do is create some kind of vortex shape at this inside the Large Hadron Collider. And now they're running these, running these particles and everything else in a flow, one direction at almost the speed of light. And this thing is swimming upstream and going faster than the speed of light. Or the speed of light. And like, I know, like, there's all this stuff about like time dilation and stuff like that. And when you approach the speed of light, time slows down. If you can go faster than the speed of light, if it were possible, you could travel back in time. And with this thing, when there's something flowing like that, that was the first thing I thought of. But then I was like, I started looking into it, and I was like, well, they literally call electricity current, dude, because it flows like water. It flows like it's a current. And when you understand like how it works, and I'm not very good with electricity, but you have a current, and then like voltage and amps are like, one of them's like the pressure of the current, and one of them's like the volume. Okay, that's like basically amps and volts. So like electricity goes at the speed of light, dude. So if you had something that was a vortex like this, some kind of vortex shape, and you stick it in the middle of some like concentrated current of electricity, this thing swims upstream. An inanimate object with no propulsion on its own. There's a whole effect that they studied on this, and it swims upstream, dude. So you could just get a flow of current and something that reacts like this vortice inside a flow of electricity. This is like some Nikola Tesla stuff. This is probably why I was experimenting all the time with that stuff. It's called vortex shedding. And here's the article. I'll post it when I post this, and you can go to the Substack and look at it. But this is a Harvard, like a peer-reviewed Harvard natural science lecture demonstration. And this is vortex shedding in water. And that's the demonstration of what I was talking about. Let's just go over it. I haven't even read the entire thing yet. I like unpacking this stuff on here. I like unpacking it with you guys because I'm just like digging into this, man. Okay. Water moving around a cylindrical pendulum makes a cylinder swing at the vortex shedding frequency. Okay, so vortex shedding frequency. Basically what they're saying is that if this thing is tuned right, it starts moving faster than the current. When fluid flows around a cylindrical object, there is a range of flow velocities for which a von Karman vortex street is formed. Is this even real? This seems like gaslighting to the like this is just, that could have been an AI deepfake. This is why I'm cautious about this stuff. I need to get myself a little stick and like go stick it in a river and see if it swims upstream. I don't know, man. This says that it's, check this math here. Because if this is real simple stuff, right? Can it be this easy? Can this be this easy? It says the shedding of these vortices imparts a periodic force on the object. The force is quite small and not enough to accelerate the object to any significant amount. But so they're saying it doesn't go very fast in nerd speak. Especially if the object is relatively massive. Okay, well, guess what? Noah figured out how to remove that. Just take mass out of the equation. Make whatever this vortex thing is neutrally buoyant. If the situation is such that the object can vibrate about a fixed position, so it's just, this thing just starts vibrating. It starts resonating. Blinks into the fifth dimension. We have the possibility of simple harmonic motion. Okay, simple harmonic motion. You see how these nerds talk? It's nerd speak. It's like they talk like this, and they use mathematical equations so that people who aren't in the club can't just it's not simplified to the point where people like that can understand it. If the frequency of the periodic driving force matches the natural frequency of the oscillation. Okay, so the oscillation is just when that little corkscrew thing is spinning, and when it's tuned right or whatever, it starts spinning upstream. That's what they're saying. Then the resonance obtains, and the amplitude of the oscillations can be significant. The object is a cylinder attached to a physical pendulum whose frequency of oscillation is adjustable. The end of the cylinder is submerged in flowing water. When the frequency of the pendulum is adjusted to match the frequency of vortex shedding, the cylinder swings transverse to the direction of flow with a peak-to-peak amplitude of 2 to 3 centimeters. Okay. Consider the flow of fluid around a smooth cylinder. Okay, visualize that, guys. A little cylinder in the water. For velocities exceeding laminar flow, the inertia of the fluid starts to become significant. And as the fluid stream passes... Hold on, I'm getting something right now. I'm seeing like this is like fiber optics, dude. They can bend light and do all of that stuff. No, we'll move on. As the fluid stream passes the topmost part of the cylinder, it is unable to negotiate the rear half of the cylinder. Hence, the fluid tends to separate from the top surface and peel off. Okay, so it's just creating, like, basically drag is what it's saying. It starts catching it, flows downstream, ending up as a shed vortex. It will peel off in the CCW motion from the bottom surface. For a given velocity of flow, this model suggests the vortex formation time will be proportional to the distance around the cylinder or its diameter, and thus the frequency of the vortex formation will be inversely proportional to the diameter. So basically, guys, like, we're not using, there's no propulsion here. You're using what's already flowing, and it creates a vortex behind it that pushes it along, that propels it. Dude, that's what they're saying, and you just got to tune it to, it says it needs to be tuned, and thus the frequency of vortex formation will be inversely proportional to the diameter. So you can take a measurement of the length and the diameter of the little vortex container, or whatever you want to call it, and you can figure out how big the vortex will be to optimize, set, like, tuning in the frequency of the thing to make it flow faster. Furthermore, if the flow velocity increases, the frequency of the vortex formation will likewise increase. So the faster it goes, the faster the object swimming upstream goes, leading to a direct relation between the two. This is what Hall found empirically. Oh, you know what? This is just like the like you pee in a river in the Amazon and a little thing swims up your pee-pee. You don't do that. That's how they do it. They're not really swimming. It's a little corkscrew worm goes up your urethra. If you're Hank Hill, it's your narrow urethra, if it can fit through. And that's what happens, dude. This is so crazy. Like, how is this not taught in science class? How are they not showing kids this? I would have figured this out freshman year of high school, dude. How? Like, how? How do they not, like, do you see what they're doing? They're screwing with us, guys. They're making an assumption that most people are too dumb not to figure this stuff out. And if you don't play the little nerdy scientist game and get down with Satan and you don't go in a club, you get, ostracized. You die penniless, and classified like Nikola Tesla. And the government goes in and steals all your ideas, and I was like, it's jacked up, dude. What the heck is going on, dude? This is so crazy. Oh my gosh, this is not that hard. They make it sound so much harder than it is. And it's just like, this is earth shaking, dude. This is as big as neutral buoyancy. What the heck, dude? Oh my gosh. Go watch the video. I'm going to post it on there. I don't know, man. Like, if you had, like, mass, like, they act like mass is a problem. You just get something with that's neutrally buoyant, dude. Then you don't have to worry about G-forces. When we go sit in that little thing, that little corkscrew thing can spin around us at an infinite amount of speed, and if we're neutrally buoyant in the middle of that thing in some kind of container, we won't feel a thing. And then we'll just vibrate right upstream, pushed along by our little corkscrew vortex that it creates. If you get something moving at the speed of light, that if you can tune whatever it is moving at the speed of light or near the speed of light, and fine tune this thing, that you could go the speed of light or faster. So you could, at the very least, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I gotta pray. Like, God has told me, I don't think there's any time travel, man. I mean, I know He can do it, but I don't know that, like, He allows man to do that. I don't think He does, dude. Where He said He does, and I know that. So I don't know what this means. I don't know. But, I mean, at the very least, you know that video where the guy was talking about his time dilation? He was saying he was going into Area 51. You remember that? The guy was saying, if you go see that, they released this. It's very weird. They're obviously releasing this for, I don't know. I found it, so I don't know who is it for? I have no idea. But that's what they're saying. This is what it's saying. The proportionality constant is called the Strohal number, and it turns out to be a function of the Reynolds number. For that reason, it is now known as the Strohal Reynolds number. There's little things in here, little earmarks that mean something to me and not others. It is very nearly equal to 0.2 for a large range of Reynolds numbers. I'm looking over this to see if there's anything important. I'm gonna pause it so you guys don't have to sit here on my pauses. I'm reading on, like, what is the top amount of, like, this top speed we can shoot water at? We could put water under some extreme pressure. What is that? If we put something at the bottom of the deepest ocean floor, like, how much pressure would that be? And could we turn that into flow of water that would be, like, extreme or something? I don't know, man. How could we do that? Dude, I just had an idea of, like, an underwater transportation device, dude. What if you got one of these little sticks and you made, like, a pipe underneath the ocean, and you, like, somehow, like, hollowed out the pipe, right? And then you basically, like, let water into the pipe and fills up, and then you put one of these little sticks, one of these vortexes underneath the ground, and you just sit in it, and it transports somebody from one side of the ocean to the other or something, dude. What if you did that? You're just in a little vortex stick, the size of a school bus, sitting in the middle of it, so you don't feel anything, you're neutrally buoyant, and you're just you're zipping along. I don't know. It's time for bro's shower. I'm gonna pause it. Okay. I kept looking into this. I paused. I went and I looked up. I actually watched the demonstration of what I was just talking about from Harvard, and it's demonstrating a pendulum in the water. So it's not a corkscrew thing. Right? It's just they talk so nerdy, it's hard to understand what they're talking about. I'm trying to wrap my head around it. However, it's the same. Oh crap! It's cutting out because I don't have an internet connection here. I'm going back and forth and watching it. It's creating the same vortices in the water. Basically, the pendulum is swimming back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, creating these vortices in the water. And that's what this little corkscrew thing swims up. However, I found out it's like Archimedes' corkscrew. It's called Archimedes screw. That's basically what we're looking at. I want to show this though, because the minute I started asking questions about this, AI started shutting it down, started dumbing it down, and trying to hide what I was talking about. Let me see. And then it gave me, oh yeah, you're talking about this. Oh yeah, you're talking about this. And I was clearly not talking about that, dude. This AI was trying to cover this up, dude. I said, is the vortex stick swimming upstream legitimate? The viral vortex strip. Okay, so if you go into everything that I typed, it says, yeah, but, yeah, right. That was its first response, was, so AI said, yeah, right. As soon as I started recording all of this, dude, these jerks started doing witchcraft against me. They started trying to put slumber on me and everything else. I had to go pray out all this stuff because they started messing with me. I could feel the witchcraft already coming in. They don't want me dropping this information. This is more black budget stuff. Okay. But let's discuss this. It's hiding this. And then it says, yeah, but there's a catch. If the video makes it look like a plain rigid stick spontaneously climbs up a normal hose stream, I'd want to see the actual video before saying that exact demonstration is genuine. Oh, it doesn't matter. What are you talking about? It either works or it doesn't. I don't care. Like, it's stupid, right? It's like this semantic argument. Like, hey, look over here. You're getting a little too close to some truth we don't want you to know. If the video the important questions are, is the stick hollow or especially, I don't know. I didn't check the dude's stick. One of those videos slipped past their algorithm. I saw it. I realized what I was looking at, and my mind started going over the applications of something like this. Is it rotating? Is the hose nozzle? I don't know. Stupid AI. I said, it doesn't matter. It did it. Yep, fair point. Ha ha ha. Smiley face. Then it goes on to, I said, just show me the stuff where this is demonstrated. And it links me to that Harvard natural science demonstration of vortex shedding in water. So what it's doing is it's saying, here's, inflated nerd talk with the principle that you're talking about, but not a direct demonstration of what you're asking for. Making it hard on me. You see what it's doing? You see what they do? Okay? You see what they're trying to hide from people? It's exactly what it was doing. Sent me over to a lecture about vortex shedding in water. Same principle, but it's not like the application of, Willow's crooked little magic wand swimming upstream, right? It's so stupid. It's like every time, man, they're just hiding crap. They just keep people enslaved. I'm so sick of this crap. Breaking out of this system, man. I'm gonna graduate. All right, I go down. I have graduated. I'm not under the law. I'm under grace. I need no teacher. That's what these silly little Freemasons are, keeping people stuck all the time. They don't, and you guys don't know it. That's what they do. They practice their little witchcraft. Ooh, he's getting a little close. Let's throw a little slumber at him. We're going to sit over in this house over here next door and listen to everything you do, watch you on a monitor, and then you start getting somewhere where you don't want to go. We'll throw a little magic at you, a little black magic. We'll hit your kids with it. We're going to go kill some more babies and conjure up some more demons to throw your way. That's what they do. All right. I found it, though. It's Archimedes corkscrew. Okay? Now, I want to show you this. This is how people are, dude. They're just... Don't let them crap on your parade, man. Don't let them mess with your head. Don't be bluffed off by people like this. Okay? This guy says, What causes this corkscrew-shaped object to rise up in a stream of water falling down? 8 years ago, this was asked. Modified 1 month ago, 17,000 times it was seen. It was on physicsstackexchange.com. It says a corkscrew-shaped object is floating in a tub of water. When water is poured into the tub from some height, the object starts rising up vertically in the stream of water. The water is falling down in a spiral fashion. What are the physics behind this? Is it the turning effect on the object caused by the spiral motion of the water falling on it, or is it some other phenomena? And this first guy, Zeta Band, 8/16/2018. It's a piece of fishing monofilament attached to the bucket. Oh, okay, genius. Don't you feel smart now? This is their answer for everything. You kid, there's no 0 point energy. No, where's the, they always got some stupid remark like, can't be done. Nope, can't be done. Anybody that says that stuff, they're not a true innovator. Okay, they're morons that are they're just haters, man. They're just morons. I'm telling you, it can be done. You gotta figure it out. Now, I don't know if time travel can be done. I know it can be done. God can do anything. I don't know if he puts a cap on things. We're in a closed system. That's where we're at, dude. This is why this Babaluska's whole thing is because God put some little challenge escape clause in there. Genesis 11:6. If their minds become one, they can do anything. And that prophetic word that I dropped the other day where Babaluska and his cronies thought they had us, God showed them he was ahead of that. And I want you to know something happened after that prophetic word. You need to know this. He said the end of desolations. He said it last night out of the book of Daniel. What did he say? I think he said the end of desolations. Let me look it up. It's in Daniel. And I asked him, I said, Lord, what is it? He said, the sides are set. People went with Babaluska and people went with Jesus. And it made so much sense. It's like, oh my gosh, that's what they're... And I never knew what they meant in the book of Daniel when they did that. I'm going off on this stuff. I'm going to pause it, find it, and I'll read it. Aha! Here it is. And after the 62 weeks, Messiah shall be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince who is to come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. The end of it shall be with a flood. Until the end of the war, desolations are determined. Till the end of the war, desolations are determined. Then he shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week. But in the middle of the week he shall bring an end to sacrifice and offering. And on the wings of abomination shall be one who makes desolate, even until the consummation which is determined is poured out on the desolate. Okay, right there. Desolations are determined. He told me what that means, but it says here till the end of the war, desolations are determined. So we're nearing the end of the war. Because it says until the end of the war, desolations are determined. He said, last night he said the desolations are determined. I don't want to get this mixed up about what you said. I want to make sure I committed to you, God. He said the sides are set. That's what he was saying. The desolations determined. What that is are those that go all in with Babaluska or not. The sides are set. I'm telling you, these Borg know that they're following Babaluska, or there's some people who just chose to trust Jesus and write it out, dude. Get hacked and everything else. I think that's what's going on, dude. And then right here, if you go down here, he says, he shall bring an end to sacrifice and offering. And on the wing of abominations shall be one who makes desolate. Okay, that's the man of sin that broke this thing out, making people desolate of the Holy Ghost until the end of the consummation. Okay, the end of the consummation is when consummation is like when you sleep with your bride on the first night. Seals the deal. The beast seals the deal, right? Which is determined is poured out on the desolate. All those that received the mark of the beast, Jews, you need to see this. What's poured out on the desolate? It's the people that took the mark of the beast. They get poured out. And it's straight out of the book of Revelation. And it's not in the Old Testament. And it's when the sores break out. Loathsome sores break out in these people. It's poured out on the desolate. And it's confirmed they took the mark of the beast and they received it. There is a scriptural prophecy that has partial fulfillment in the Old Testament and partial fulfillment in the New Testament. And Jews, you guys need to see this. I love you guys, and I want you to understand Messiah came, and I want as many of you guys getting saved as possible. Okay? All right, back to this. It's right there. Go look it up. And then you scroll down, and then the next guy says, I am affirming the above filament assertion, detailing the behavior of the object. It is sleight of hand with no interesting physics aspect. Oh, okay, Cosmos Zachos. At least he was like man enough to leave a stupid comment up there. I mean, right? He says, I'm afraid you people are mistaken and frankly surprised at the lack of curiosity. Abdul Moise Qureshi, May 13th, 2022, 555. The number of grace. And the man comes in with graceful words. You hear that? Seeing a pattern here? May 13th, 2022. Cosmos Zachos. No filament or string needed as Abdul Moise Qureshi link. Obviously no tricks. It seems that the water is trying to get past the helix. And that's really what I'm saying, a vortex, but it's really a helix shape. So the force may be coming from the dissipated energy. I think it's just swimming up water, dude. And the water, it forces a corkscrew motion and it makes it go faster. Because the water flowing over it. It's like a Tesla valve, if you've ever seen that. The water flows straight through it one way, and it slows it down another way. It's something like that in reverse, right? Okay, now I'm thinking about how this works, right? So we know that neutral buoyancy removes G-forces. So we can make one of these big old corkscrew shapes, and we could just make it neutrally buoyant in the water. We could swim right up the Mississippi River and just be inside. We would not be feeling whatsoever if we were neutrally buoyant in the middle of it, like an egg, right? Eggs on the inside, if you ever like spin an egg, you throw it around, the egg doesn't crack on the inside. That's neutral buoyancy. It's right there in God's design. You just got to look at it, like look at an egg, man. An egg doesn't. You could throw an egg and stop it, and the yolk doesn't splatter on the wall of the egg. It's got its own little closed system. And it's neutral buoyancy. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, with that, G forces are removed. Then you're only dealing with drag. So if you get this little corkscrew thing and you get something moving at, Mach 20. And you put, your little family inside a ball, inside a goo, inside a corkscrew, and you just stick them in there and you corkscrew, and now you're, around the world in 3 seconds or whatever. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, do you see how fast we could do? There are some serious applications for this. I want to see if we could figure out a shape like this that will do the same effect through different currents, electrical current, wind. I was thinking that too. I'm seeing this we could make like a giant blimp that just rides around on the jet streams, neutrally buoyant up there. You're just inside one of those little. You put a little ball as close to center mass on that little corkscrew as possible, or you fill it up with, and something neutrally buoyant, and you're just floating around at, breakneck speeds and watching the whole world go by, and you're safe and sound inside of that thing floating around. Just put them up there in the air and let the little corkscrew go loose, and it swims up the jet stream. You see what we're saying here? You see what's going on here? This is like some serious... It's simple, and like people should know this stuff, and we're way beyond this, dude. And we can do this. A little stick can swim upstream on a water. You could have... Why would you even need a gondola ride? You could just have little stick gondolas going up a river. If it's a deep river, Colorado River's pretty deep. We just do go right up the river in our little neutrally buoyant stick gondola. There's more here. And I'm knocking on the door. I'm going to turn over every single one of these rocks. Expose the club. That's what we're going to do. God bless you guys. Have a good day.